What if I told you that the moment you stop walking isn't when aging starts, it's when independence quietly begins to fade? I've spent over 10 years working alongside older adults, and there's one truth I've seen proven again and again. Our bodies aren't failing us. We're simply no longer giving them what they need to thrive. If walking has become slower, more painful, or just harder, don't assume it's the end of your mobility. Instead, think of it as your body asking for a new kind of care, and that's exactly what we'll explore today, through 5 expert-backed steps that go beyond walking and go straight to the root of vitality. Let's begin with how you perceive your body. Most people in their 60s, 70s, and 80s carry a hidden belief: my body is too old to rebuild. But science and experience tell a different story. Muscles don't disappear overnight. They atrophy from disuse. Joints don't stiffen because of age alone. They stiffen because the synovial fluid that keeps them mobile decreases when we stop moving. Think of your body like a biological machine. The more it's gently used, the more efficient it becomes. That's why when Barbara, 72, began doing just 10 sit-to-stand movements a day, her leg strength returned within weeks. It's called neuromuscular reactivation, and it proves your body still remembers how to move. It's just waiting for your signal. Now let's look at fatigue. Chronic tiredness isn't just a nuisance, it's a warning light. In older adults, fatigue is often a symptom of underhydration, disrupted circadian rhythms, and insufficient mitochondrial activity. If you wake up exhausted despite sleeping enough, it may be because you're not reaching deep restorative sleep stages, something easily disrupted by evening screen use or erratic sleep schedules. Barbara once told me, "I slept for 8 hours, but I still woke up tired." When we adjusted her hydration, bedtime routine, and added a 10-minute walk after dinner, her energy returned dramatically. Your mitochondria, the tiny powerhouses inside every cell, respond best to rhythm and routine. Give them that, and they'll repay you with energy. Now, here's something surprisingly overlooked: sunlight as medicine. As we age, our skin's ability to synthesize vitamin D from sunlight decreases significantly. Vitamin D isn't just for bones. It regulates over 1,000 genes related to immune function, muscle contraction, and brain chemistry. 10 minutes of early morning sun can dramatically improve serotonin levels, stabilizing your mood and sleep-wake cycles. Barbara's morning sun ritual became a turning point. Just sitting outdoors after waking changed her energy, reduced joint stiffness, and even improved her digestion. Nature built us to interact with light. When we ignore that, systems begin to fail quietly. That brings us to the foundation of all mobility: your legs. As a clinician, I've seen firsthand how quadriceps and glute weakness is the #1 precursor to falls. The moment your knees tremble when standing up or you hesitate on stairs, that's not fear talking, that's physiology. But here's the hope: you can retrain your proprioceptors, those little sensors in your joints that control balance, through simple leg exercises. Chair squats, heel raises, and leg lifts don't just build strength, they literally re-educate your brain on how to stand, balance, and move. 5 minutes a day. That's it. It's not about intensity, it's about consistency. Finally, we come to the deepest layer: the connection between movement, mind, and meaning. Yoga and Tai Chi are more than gentle stretches. They are neurologically rich, mindfulness-driven forms of movement. They improve vagal tone, reduce cortisol, and increase dopamine, all crucial for brain aging and emotional health. Barbara once said, "Tai Chi didn't just help me walk, it helped me feel safe inside my body again." And that's what matters. Because aging isn't about decline, it's about realignment. About letting go of the old version of strength and embracing a smarter, calmer, wiser way to move through the world. So let me ask you, which one of these will you begin with today? Leave a comment below. I'd love to hear your answer. And if this message resonated with you, if you believe aging should be empowered, not feared, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who deserves to live fully, no matter their age. Because how you move today, even just a little, is how you protect tomorrow. 1. Your body isn't broken. It's just waiting for you to move again. Have you ever stopped mid-movement and thought, "Why does my body feel like this now?" Maybe it's a small hesitation before getting up from a chair, or that subtle feeling of imbalance when you reach too quickly. These moments feel like signs of aging, don't they? But here's the truth I've learned after working with older adults for over 10 years. What you're experiencing is not aging, it's adaptation. Your body isn't giving up on you. It's simply responding to how much, or how little, it's being used. I once worked with a man named Harold, 76 years old, who told me, "I used to walk miles every day. Now I get winded just tying my shoes." But Harold wasn't sick. He hadn't had surgery. What had changed was subtle but significant. He stopped using the muscles that once supported him so effortlessly. And when we stop moving certain parts of the body, they begin to shut down, not out of rebellion, but out of efficiency. Muscles shrink through a process called atrophy. Joint cartilage becomes thinner without daily movement. Even the brain starts to rewire, reducing how it manages balance and coordination. That's why something as simple as getting out of bed can suddenly feel unstable. But here's the good news. Your body still remembers. All it needs is your permission to reawaken. You don't need intense workouts. In fact, I often tell my clients, it's not the movement that's hard. It's getting started that's hard. Try this today. Stand up and sit down from a chair 10 times. Lift one leg while sitting and hold it for a few seconds. Rotate your ankles in circles while you're watching TV. These actions may seem small, but they activate critical muscle groups and rebuild neuromuscular coordination, even if you're in your 70s or 80s. The real danger isn't weakness, it's stillness. When we stop moving, we send a message to our bodies that the work is done. But when we move, even just a little, we send the opposite signal. I'm still here. I still want this life. And the body responds. I've seen people go from using walkers to walking unaided, simply because they stayed consistent with micro-movements. And if you're thinking it's too late, I promise you, it isn't. Research confirms that even in our later years, we can regenerate strength, balance, and confidence with daily, intentional activity. So instead of asking, why am I getting weaker? Ask, how can I help my body remember how strong it still is? And now that you've started to understand what's truly going on inside your body, let me show you something just as important, a hidden factor that might be draining your energy every single day, even if you're doing everything else right. 2. Fatigue is not just a normal part of aging. Have you ever felt completely exhausted, even after doing almost nothing all day? You wake up feeling like you haven't rested at all, drag your feet through the morning, and by the afternoon, even lifting your arms feels like too much. It's easy to think, I guess this is just what getting old feels like. But as someone who's spent over a decade working with older adults, I can tell you this. Fatigue may be common as we age, but it is not inevitable, and it's certainly not something you have to accept. I remember Margaret, 68, who came to see me not because she was in pain, but because she was tired of being tired. I sleep enough, I rest all day, but I still feel worn out, she told me. What we discovered was eye-opening and all too familiar. She wasn't sleeping well, she was barely drinking water, and her daily movement had quietly vanished. Fatigue isn't just about doing too much. It's often a signal that we're not doing enough of the right things. Let's start with hydration. As we age, our sense of thirst becomes dull, so we don't drink enough, even when our body desperately needs it. Just a mild level of dehydration can lead to mental fog, muscle fatigue, and even dizziness. It affects circulation, brain function, and how your heart pumps blood. That's why I recommend starting your day with a full glass of water before coffee, before breakfast, just pure hydration to wake up your system. Then there's sleep. You might be in bed for 8 hours, but if your brain isn't cycling through the deep stages of sleep, your body never truly recharges. Light pollution, screen time, and inconsistent bedtimes all disrupt melatonin production, and without enough melatonin, sleep becomes shallow and broken. My advice? Power down electronics an hour before bed, keep the room cool and dark, and create a wind-down ritual your body can learn to rely on. And finally, we can't ignore movement. It may seem counterintuitive, but sitting all day actually drains your energy more than it restores it. Movement, even small, consistent movement, stimulates circulation, improves oxygen flow to the brain, and activates your mitochondria, the energy factories inside your cells. That's why when Margaret started doing light stretching, walking during phone calls, and adding just 10 minutes of movement to her afternoons, she started feeling noticeably more alert within days. Fatigue is not just about your age, it's about your habits. And the beautiful thing is, habits can be changed. So ask yourself, when was the last time you felt truly rested? Not just less tired, but actually energized? If it's been a while, let this be your starting point. Make hydration, rest, and gentle movement part of your daily rhythm, and watch your body respond. And speaking of responses, there's one more surprising trigger behind low energy and stiff joints that hardly anyone talks about. It's not a supplement, and it doesn't cost a dime, but it could transform the way you feel in just 10 minutes a day. Let's uncover that next. 3. Let the sun save you. Have you ever noticed how staying indoors for too long makes you feel more sluggish, stiff, or even down for no clear reason? There's something quietly powerful that's missing from most people's lives, especially as they get older, and it's not a vitamin, a pill, or a therapy. It's sunlight. I've had patients tell me, I just don't feel like myself anymore, and more often than not, they're spending 90% of their days indoors, under artificial lights, behind closed windows, watching the world from inside. But here's what they don't realize. Your body is biologically designed to interact with natural light. And when it doesn't, your health, physical and emotional, slowly pays the price. I remember Robert, 74, who struggled with low energy, trouble sleeping, and chronic joint discomfort. He had tried everything, new mattresses, supplements, medications. But what finally helped him was something he'd overlooked entirely. I asked him a simple question. How much time do you spend outside each day? He paused and said, honestly, maybe a few minutes, through the window. That's when everything clicked. You see, sunlight plays a critical role in your body's production of vitamin D, a nutrient essential for calcium absorption, immune function, and muscle strength. As we age, our skin becomes less efficient at synthesizing vitamin D from sunlight, which means we need even more exposure just to meet our body's basic needs. Without enough, we're more prone to bone thinning, fatigue, mood dips, and slower recovery from inflammation. But there's more. Exposure to natural sunlight also helps regulate your circadian rhythm, your internal body clock, which controls sleep-wake cycles, hormone release, and even digestion. That's why just 10 to 15 minutes of morning sun can dramatically improve your sleep quality and mental clarity. So what did I tell Robert to do? Simple. Each morning, he stepped outside for 10 minutes, coffee in hand, light stretch, just letting the sun touch his face and arms. Within 2 weeks, his sleep improved, his mood lifted, and that deep fatigue he thought was permanent began to ease. He didn't need medication, he needed a sunrise. And you can do the same. Step outside when the day is still quiet. Let the light hit your skin without sunglasses or barriers. You don't have to run, walk, or even move much. Just be there. And if the weather doesn't allow it, open your windows, sit near the light, and reconnect with the rhythm of nature. This simple act can rewire how your body feels and functions. Sometimes, healing begins not with doing more, but with returning to what's natural. And now that your body is soaking in light and starting to recharge, there's one more area we need to focus on: the foundation of your mobility. Your legs. If they weaken, everything changes. But if you strengthen them, you don't just move better, you stay independent. Let's talk about that next. 4. Your legs are your freedom. Have you ever sat down and suddenly realized that getting back up feels harder than it used to? Not because of pain, not even because of weight, but because your legs simply don't feel as strong anymore. It sneaks up on you. One day you're climbing stairs without thinking, and the next, you're reaching for the railing not out of habit, but out of fear. I've seen this happen to so many of my patients over the years, and it's one of the most common signs that your lower body is losing the strength it once had. But here's what I tell every single person who walks into my clinic. Your legs aren't failing you. They're just waiting for you to re-engage with them. I once worked with a woman named Elaine, 71, who came in not because of pain, but because she was afraid of falling. I avoid stairs now, she whispered. Not because I can't do them, but because I don't trust my legs anymore. That broke my heart. Because when you stop trusting your legs, you start limiting your life. You take fewer walks, avoid new places, and stop doing the things that used to bring you joy. And the less you move, the more your muscles shrink. Especially your quadriceps, glutes, and calves, the very muscles that support balance, posture, and confidence. But the good news? These muscles are still trainable. Even in your 70s, 80s, or beyond. You don't need a gym. You don't even need to leave your living room. Just 3 movements, done consistently, can help retrain your body and restore strength where it matters most. First, the sit to stand. Sit in a sturdy chair, feet flat, and slowly rise to standing without using your hands. Repeat this 5 to 10 times a day. Second, seated leg lifts. While watching TV, straighten one leg out and hold it for a few seconds, then switch. Third, heel raises. Stand behind a chair, rise up onto your toes, then slowly lower down. These simple exercises do more than just build muscle. They activate your proprioceptors, the tiny sensors in your joints that tell your brain where your body is in space. That's what gives you balance. That's what prevents falls. Elaine started these exercises, just 5 minutes a day, and within weeks she noticed something amazing. She no longer hesitated at the stairs. Her legs weren't just stronger, her confidence came back. She started walking farther, stood taller, and even rejoined her local dance group. all because she said yes to her legs. So if you've been feeling unsteady or unsure, don't wait until a fall forces you to act. Start now. Give your legs the attention they deserve. Because when your legs are strong, you are free. And now that your foundation is back in motion, let's go one level deeper to something that ties everything together: your balance, your breathing, your brain, and your emotional peace. In the next part, we'll rediscover the surprising healing power of mindful movement and how just 5 minutes a day can change everything. 5. Gentle movement, yoga and Tai Chi. Have you ever felt like your body is stiff, even when you haven't done much? Like every joint is moving through resistance, as if your muscles are holding onto something invisible? That's not just aging. That's your body calling out for motion. But not just any motion. It needs movement that is gentle, intentional, and restorative. That's where practices like yoga and Tai Chi come in, and they're far more powerful than most people realize. Many of my older patients used to say, "Aren't those just for flexible people?" Or, "I'm too old for that slow stuff." But I've seen these very movements change lives not because they're dramatic, but because they speak to what the aging body needs most: stability, breath, balance, and peace. One of my patients, Mr. Lang, was 80 when he first tried Tai Chi. His posture was stooped, his steps unsteady, and he admitted feeling anxious every time he left the house. After just 2 weeks of 5-minute daily practice, slow, flowing movements in his living room, his walk became steadier. After a month, he told me, "I feel like I can trust my body again." And it wasn't just physical. His mood lifted. His sleep improved. He laughed more. That's because mindful movement doesn't just heal muscles, it heals mindset. You see, yoga and Tai Chi activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and restore side of your brain. They lower cortisol, reduce blood pressure, and improve oxygenation to the brain. This isn't just ancient wisdom, it's backed by science. And the best part? You don't need to be flexible. You don't need to hold difficult poses. You can do chair-based yoga or standing Tai Chi near a countertop. You can begin right where you are. Start with simple movements. Gently roll your shoulders, reach your arms overhead while breathing in, lower them slowly while breathing out. Practice standing on one foot for a few seconds, then the other, while holding a chair if needed. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is presence. Because when you move with awareness, you begin to listen to your body again, not in fear, but with curiosity and kindness. You begin to feel what's tight, what's tired, what's capable. And over time, your body responds with flexibility, confidence, and grace. Even just 5 minutes a day can reawaken something deeper, a feeling of calm, of ownership, of peace. So don't think of yoga and Tai Chi as exercise. Think of them as medicine for your body, your balance, and your mind. And as you begin to move more mindfully, you'll realize something profound. Aging isn't about decline. It's about realignment. A chance to come back to yourself, more fully, more softly, more alive. If you've made it this far, I hope you'll try one gentle movement today and tell me how it feels. And if this journey resonated with you, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your experience in the comments. Because you're not alone. And your story may inspire someone else to begin their healing too. And as you begin to move with more intention, connecting breath to body and stillness to strength, there's one more natural element your body quietly craves. One that works hand in hand with movement to heal, energize, and restore. It's simple, free, and often overlooked. Let's step outside and talk about the forgotten power of sunlight. 6. Sunlight, the free medicine for your bones and your mood. Have you ever noticed how just stepping outside for a few minutes can make you feel different, calmer, lighter, a little more alive? It's not in your head, it's in your biology. And yet, one of the most powerful, healing elements for the aging body is also one of the most overlooked: sunlight. I can't count how many times a patient has said to me, "I just don't feel like myself lately," only for us to discover they've been spending most of their time indoors, behind curtains, under artificial lights, disconnected from the natural rhythm of the day. One of them, Ms. Riley, 73, struggled with stiffness, fatigue, and even mild depression. No medication seemed to help. So I asked her, "How often do you sit in the sun?" She laughed and said, "What sun? I haven't really been outside in months." That was the turning point. You see, sunlight triggers the production of vitamin D in your skin, a hormone-like vitamin that plays a critical role in calcium absorption, bone density, muscle strength, and even mood regulation. As we age, our skin becomes less efficient at converting sunlight into vitamin D, which means we need it even more than we used to. And the benefits don't stop there. Natural sunlight helps regulate your circadian rhythm, which controls your sleep-wake cycle. That's why just 10 to 15 minutes of early morning sun can help you sleep better at night, feel clearer during the day, and restore a sense of calm you may have forgotten. Ms. Riley began sitting outside every morning with her tea, just 15 minutes. Within 2 weeks, she felt less stiff, more energized, and, as she said, more like myself again. No prescription, just presence. And here's the beautiful part. The sun is free. You don't have to walk far or exercise hard. Just open the door, step outside, and let the light touch your skin. Your body knows what to do with it. So, the next time you're feeling sluggish, heavy, or out of sync, don't reach for a pill. Reach for the sky. Because sometimes the most powerful medicine is the one that's been shining above you all along. And speaking of energy, balance, and confidence, let's move next into one of the most important areas for lifelong independence, the strength of your legs. If you want to stay steady, free, and fearless, this next part is for you. 7. Simple exercises to strengthen your legs and steady your life. Have you ever paused before getting out of a chair, not because you were in pain, but because your legs felt unsure? That tiny moment of hesitation, that flicker of doubt, can quietly grow into fear. And when you stop trusting your legs, you begin to move less, reach less, live less. But here's the truth. Your legs don't just carry you, they define your independence. And the moment they weaken, everything else becomes harder. As someone who has worked with older adults for more than a decade, I've seen how quickly leg strength declines when we stop using it. But I've also seen how fast it can return with the right kind of movement. No gyms, no machines, no pressure. Just simple, consistent exercises. I remember working with Mr. Thomas, 75, who said, "I used to be able to stand from the couch in one motion. Now I have to rock forward twice and push with my arms." That loss of strength, though subtle at first, had started to steal his confidence. But we didn't focus on lifting heavy weights. We started with the basics, sit-to-stand exercises from a firm chair, holding the arms out to avoid using momentum. Then heel raises, standing behind the kitchen counter, lifting his heels, holding, and lowering with control. Lastly, leg extensions while sitting, one leg at a time, hold for 5 seconds, and switch. Within a few weeks, he wasn't just moving better. He stood taller. His balance improved. And more than anything, he said he no longer feared falling. That's what this is really about, not just stronger muscles, but a stronger sense of control. These small movements awaken the large muscle groups, the quads, glutes, calves, and retrain your brain to feel steady again. You only need 5 minutes a day to begin. 5 minutes to send your body the message, I still want to move through this life with strength. So if your legs have felt unsteady lately, don't wait for a crisis to start. Start now, gently, and watch your body respond. And as your feet become more grounded, it's time to talk about something just as vital, not just how you move, but how you think, how you feel, and how deeply your mind influences your body. In the next part, we'll explore how balance isn't just physical, it's emotional, mental, and something you can train, just like a muscle. 8. Yoga and Tai Chi, the keys to balance, peace, and emotional strength. Have you ever felt like your body is upright, but your mind is still trembling inside? Like you're walking just fine, but somehow not fully steady? That's because balance isn't just about muscle and movement. It's also about mental clarity, emotional calm, and the quiet confidence that comes from feeling connected to your own body again. This is where yoga and Tai Chi shine, not as trendy exercises, but as powerful tools that bring together strength, stillness, and self-awareness. I remember Linda, 70, who told me, "My legs work, but my fear of falling is what keeps me stuck." She didn't need more workouts, she needed to rebuild trust between her brain and her body. And that's exactly what happened when she discovered chair yoga and standing Tai Chi. What makes these practices so effective, especially for older adults, is that they don't just stretch your muscles, they retrain your nervous system. Every slow movement, every mindful breath, sends a message of safety to your brain. Cortisol drops, blood pressure lowers, oxygen flows more freely. Your body shifts out of fight or flight and into rest and restore. And the more you practice, the more those benefits last throughout your day. You don't need to be flexible. You don't need to know the names of the poses. You don't even need a mat. Start in a chair. Roll your shoulders. Inhale as you lift your arms, exhale as you lower them. Or try standing with soft knees, gently shifting your weight from one leg to the other. These small actions train your balance, stabilize your core, and most importantly, calm your mind. I've seen people who were too afraid to leave their homes regain the confidence to go for walks, visit family, even travel, all because their minds and bodies began to move in harmony again. Aging doesn't mean shrinking away from life. It means moving through it with more wisdom, more grace, and more inner strength. And if you've never tried mindful movement before, let today be the day. Because when your breath, your body, and your balance align, life starts to feel steady again. And now that you've rebuilt this inner stability, there's one final step to wrap it all together, a closing reflection that brings everything full circle. Let's take that final step together. If you've made it this far, I want you to take a deep breath and take a moment to feel proud of yourself. Because today, you didn't just watch a video. You made a powerful choice. You chose to listen to your body instead of ignoring it. You chose to believe that no matter your age, no matter your pace, you are still capable of change, of growth, and of strength. That alone is worth celebrating. So many people believe that aging is a slow surrender, a quiet fading of everything they used to enjoy. But I hope this journey reminded you of a different truth. Aging is not a retreat. It's a return to your body, a return to awareness, a return to what truly matters: health, confidence, movement, and peace. Maybe you found yourself nodding during one of the stories. Maybe something resonated with your own experience: the fatigue, the fear of falling, the feeling that your legs aren't what they used to be. Or maybe, for the first time in a while, you felt a spark of hope that you can do something about it. And you can. You absolutely can. Because it doesn't take hours in the gym. It doesn't require fancy routines or perfect form. It begins with something far more powerful: a decision to move, to breathe, to step into each day with just a little more intention. And when you do that consistently, gently, lovingly, your body will surprise you. It will respond. And more importantly, so will your spirit. I've seen it in my patients. I've seen it in people who thought they were too old, or too weak, or too late. And I see it in you, right now, just for showing up. So here's what I invite you to do. Take one thing you learned today, just one, and try it. Maybe it's standing up from a chair without using your hands. Maybe it's stepping into the sunlight for 10 minutes. Maybe it's simply pausing to take a deep, mindful breath. Whatever it is, let that be your beginning. Speech balloon, and when you do, I'd love to hear about it. Please share your experience in the comments. Tell me what resonated with you, what you're going to try first, or even what challenges you've been facing. This isn't just a video, it's a space for connection. And your story may be exactly what someone else needs to hear to take their first step. Pushpin, if this video encouraged you, please give it a like. It truly helps more people find this message. They'll subscribe to the channel so you don't miss more practical, compassionate guidance on staying strong, steady, and independent as you age. Bust in silhouette, and if there's someone you love who could benefit from this, a parent, a friend, a neighbor, share it with them. Because aging isn't about giving up. It's about showing up. And today, you did.